Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back with John Riggio, our pro tennis player, our tennis legend, author, architect, man of the hour, always with the story, looking good today. Compliments him on his hair, his tan. You must be feeling good because it's emanating. I could hear it in your energy. And I know we've been talking a little bit about the things we're going to talk about today. And let's get right to them because I want to hear.
Yeah. So even though it's been rainy and cloud, I've been able to get outside, get some sunshine. And this year was very good as far as the previous weekend was very nice weather. There was a lot of people out on my tennis meetup, and they were all learning and everything. So that was very good. And just this weekend, we had the Flemington uh, book fair where they had the author tent, and there was a number of authors there that were really very good. I will show you some pictures today of them. And the show has been going on very well. Let me share some pictures now.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so this here is the Flemington book fair. Let's do this. Okay. And this here shows the area where the authors are. Across on the other street, they have the bookstore, and which is called Act Two Books.
Okay.
They have some of my books on the shelves there. And this here is just a photograph here. Now, as the author show gets going, a lot of times I'd like to do some book shares with the other authors. And this is showing someone's book. I'm there. And I think if I just zoom into this book, it's a very nice book called Wavelengths. And this here by Daniel Dickholtz. This is a very nice book. We shared the books. And let me see if there's him with my book. So we exchange books very nicely. This here is some people who attended the show, looking at the different books. And there I gave them an autographed copy of the Tennis Fox. They really liked that. A lot of people are really taking to this Tennis Fox photograph. And it makes it very easy to just give a nice autograph, and they like the photograph. So that came out really good. This is just a picture showing some of the other authors that were there at the show. And luckily this weekend on Monday the 25th, this was the rain delay. So the rain delay was originally the author show was on Sunday. I had announced before on the 24th. Since they had so much rain, it was on the 25th. And then I think by like noontime, the weather had finally cleared, and some people were able to make it to the show. So this is another photograph of a book I exchanged. And this here's with Donna. She is a really very experienced tennis player. And we were talking about tennis. She really likes playing tennis. For a long time, she was playing recreational tennis. There's just some more pictures. They really like this book with the Tennis Fox photograph. This here at the show, they let me just replay this again.
It's like a library people. It's a library.
So that was
Take care of the
For this, they had some music. Someone was playing from the guitar for everyone. They have a little sitting area there.
I'm confused. I'm like, I don't know if I was trying to hear the music, but I heard people talking. I'm like, wait, what am I looking at? Unless it was.
This one here, for example.
And that's just a still picture. This is the guitarist here that she was playing some very nice music
Yay.
for everyone. This was really good. This is just some pictures here at the fair. And this I do a little welcome. It's just really amazing. It wasn't too bad for such heavy rain this weekend. The amount of waters here was pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
This here is just showing someone's book. Did a very nice exchange of.
Look at you promoting your others. Love it. Look at this.
And this is him showing.
Aw, yours. Cute.
This is just my tent at this location. You had to bring your own
Mhm.
chair and desk and everything. So that's why things were a little bit tight with the tables. This is just one of my neighbors here coming over to say hello. And this is just some basic photographs. Let's see here. This is I went to the Memorial Day show also.
Aw.
And let's see. Okay, and then I have some other pictures. I just recently with the Podcast Business Network, I went to the in studio show with Steve Harper, and that show should get edited and should come out very soon. I should have it, and I will put it up on the YouTube site, and everyone could watch that. It was a very nice 1 hour long show discussing my tennis, my architecture career, how things developed, and things went really good. I have some pictures of that. So let me see where that is. Let me see if that was on here. Let's see if that was here. Yeah, it was here. Super. Let me close that. All right. Let me make sure I have the correct photographs.
Sure.
Oh, okay, yes, I have them now. Okay. Okay, so this here, let me just share that now. Oh, okay, good. So I just want to make sure we weren't seeing
Oh my
the.
gosh,
Oh, there we go.
beautiful. And who's that?
Okay, good. So this here is at the show, and this here at the time here is my girlfriend Cherry.
Hi, Jerry.
I had already showed her introduction
Beautiful, yeah.
before on one of the previous podcasts, and she already owned her own beauty salon
Aw.
in Vietnam. She's very smart and, of course, very beautiful. So this here is showing our photograph here, and then we decided to get married. So,
Aw. When was the date?
yes, we are getting married. It's just putting the paperwork through. And this here shows our photograph together. And this is our drive there to the
Beautiful.
studio. Of course, the podcast business network provided the car to get there. So that was very nice.
Oh my goodness.
And this is our picture.
Oh, shopping for rings. Did you let her pick it out?
Of course. Yep.
You are so sweet. I never understood men that want to surprise their significant other, no offense, because then what if they don't like it? And then you got to kind of be nice, but then what if you're not nice and honest and it'll upset someone? Beautiful.
And there's our wonderful rings.
Aw, gorgeous.
So this is really amazing. And so that was some nice news going on just recently.
Amazing.
So I think
Amazing.
that's very good.
Aw.
And so I think as far as that is very nice. And of course, this stories are all based off my book that was just published last year in 2025. And it's called My Own Court, The Life Story of Tennis Legend John Riggio. You can see
Aw.
all the different stories of my tennis playing when I was younger and my professional career. And so everything is really doing very well. I think just as far as some things that I was showing, let me just share this. Let me just go to my profile real quick. And just as far as going on to the internet, you could head on to my X page. And this shows the pictures I have just shown about the Flemington Book Show around here. I did a nice selection of pictures. And of course, this was from the previous book swap. And then this here, of course, is this
I love
picture
it.
of the tennis
Who's
fox.
John Riggio, the tennis fox?
Yes. So that is the pictures there. This also shows on the top, I have one link to the YouTube that shows one of the previous shows that goes through the book. It explains the book. It's video number 55. It has all the basic information of how the autobiography was set up with the chapters. So I leave that at the top of this on the X page. It's easy to get to, and you could really just go through and get an idea of the book. And then, of course, if you like it, you could just buy it. The ebook is only $9.99. If you like a hard copy of the book, you can either get the paperback or the hardcover. They're available on the internet, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Kobo, thrift books, everywhere. It's there. So those are good. And let me just stop the share on this. So that has been very good. And there's a lot of amazing things going on. I think the memories of the tennis have really been amazing. And I was talking about a lot of entertainers, and I have so many more names and people that were really at the tennis matches, at the tennis courts, and all kinds of different interesting stories about them. Uh, it was amazing. I think also like the time was very condensed when I was young. They sort of were counting the days and the years, and it was sort of like 4 years to 1 year, and the amount of tennis and different things that were happening. They everything was really very fast paced with a lot of different things going on. And so as I was remembering all these stories, there were so many more and more events taking place that it was really amazing. I think on the show I was talking about some different people, and I think I had said on the last podcast some new people. Um, I think one of them was JP Morgan Jr. was a name I haven't talked about in the past, but he was there at the tennis center and gave me insights into my tennis career, my tennis playing, and things were very good. And I was really their best tennis player, best sport player. They always follow all the professional sports, and a lot of times tennis is comparable to boxing,
Mm-hmm.
but they were saying that I was really their best and most profitable player, winning the most amount of money. Um, I think years ago, yeah, there was all kinds of interesting things like that going on. And I think they were comparing me also at that time with the stadium, everything to Babe Ruth. And Babe Ruth, by chance, was sponsored by the Rockefellers. And I was told all kinds of interesting stories about things like that, that there were such amazing things going on. And with the tennis playing, it's was really amazing with that. And let's see. So as far as like the things with the tennis, the playing there, I think originally they were talking about things like the grandstand. The grandstand was before the stadium, and the grandstand is something that's still physically visible. All you do is you go to Times Square in New York City, and you see that grandstand, and that is the grandstand. Now they renovated it two times. It was originally designed by an architect in, I think he was either from France or Germany. I don't remember. I researched it online, and the information about that architect is visible. You can read about the story of how he designed that. And I remember how he was hired by Gloria Vanderbilt to build that grandstand. What happened was after the grandstand was built, it was going really excellent. The idea of the grandstand next to the bubble is sort of a standard. They have that in Cleveland, Ohio. They have a grandstand next to their bubble. But that idea in New York City was working very good. There were somehow problems with the city saying the
Mm-hmm.
occupancy around the grandstand with all the people was had to get legalized. So since they found stops in getting legalizing the grandstand, even if it's on New York City property, made it where it had to get relocated. I noticed the company that bought that, they bought that and took it on for themselves and relocated into Times Square. They have never had a problem. It's nice and open in Times Square. There's no safety problems, and that has worked really good. But it had relocated, and I think that grandstand was really like an idea just one step before getting building a stadium. And that's when these things were starting to happen, when I was told all about the stadium, calling it Chase Stadium. And already told stories about the stadium as we went through customizing the design. The stadium wasn't really just a stadium you use for an hour and leave. It turned out to be more like a stadium that was more like a tennis multi-use center, which is a little better anyway, because that is sort of more what most people like, is the tennis center is it's more like a tennis center, not really a stadium or compared to a baseball stadium, which they don't want. So that is one interesting thing. But as for my tennis playing career, the grandstand right there in Times Square is really the exact same grandstand that they built at the tennis bubble. It was just renovated over the years. The stories of that architect designing it is present on the internet. I think the one catch was when they sold that grandstand, they didn't want to make a big deal that it was really bought and it was really going to get repurposed someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the story of that grandstand is just in the point of view of the Times Square Corporation. It's not really the full whole story. The whole story was the grandstand was really designed and constructed at my tennis bubble for my just for my tennis playing. And I think during the use of the grandstand, there was an introductory match, like you would have in a concert. You'd have an introductory band,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was the center stage, the next uh,
Awesome.
match playing there. So there were some players that were able to benefit from that whole thing. They got that intro match. They were able to play that. Probably got some television coverage out of that. And then I was the center stage match right after that. So that was really what was happening at that time. And But the whole thing with the tennis grandstand was right previous to this whole idea of the tennis stadium, and really when I at the time of that is when I had talked to JP Morgan Jr. They said the grandstand over there at Times Square uh, is the same one. Just I noticed they had renovated a couple of times. They had someone else renovate it and do all kinds of interesting things. Because I remember this whole thing with that was really that it was
Yeah.
painted red. Britney Spears was telling me the story how it's painted red. She always used to go over there. I think even Justin Bieber used to like to stop over at
Yeah.
that grandstand, and they used to say how it was painted red. I never went to sit on it. You know, there's rules in tennis. If you're really number one, you're the star. You don't go and play like you're also the spectator. I did not
Yeah.
even go near it. You just look over, maybe see it a little bit that it was there. I didn't really walk over and do anything with it at all. So they were telling me stories of how they were there, seeing it painted red and constructed with these special railings. The
Mm-hmm.
railing design was a brand new idea back then when they constructed. And I noticed after it was sold, it was sitting around a while.
Mm-hmm.
There was sort of like a little time gap
Mm-hmm.
between when I was playing, when they sold that, and then when it was really introduced into Times Square. It took a few years. It didn't happen in 2 seconds, but they eventually did put it there. So some entertainers you see in the tabloids, they were there with me. They were telling me stories about how it was constructed, how they were painting it. And that was really what was happening at that time. So these stories are all big names, people you still see in the news and television, and that is already some interesting stories I'm telling everyone. With the grandstand, there was also a flat screen panel. So one of the flat screen panels in Times Square is connected with the original grandstand. So they have the original grandstand now. I notice in front of it they have this very nice statue, but one of the flat plans was originally in front of the grandstand. So you would look sitting on the grandstand, you would look and you'd see this big flat panel. And that panel was also bought. It isn't written down in the history of the grandstand, but the Times Square, they bought that flat panel and they relocated. It's one of them on the buildings. So that is one interesting added fact about that whole thing with the grandstand and the flat panel. The flat panel is there somewhere. I don't know which one it is, but it is original flat panel was there. So that is really amazing. So amazing things have been happening, and a lot of stories from the past, and been continuing some fun things in the present time. My tennis teaching is going on. The book shows are going on. The tennis fox photograph is really taking very well. They really like it. People have really liked it. Young kids have liked it. It's just been very well. Sort of gives indication of some fun things were going on. I was talking to the Japanese team, some laughter's going on, and then they think I'm laughing like a fox. I'm playing like a
Mm-hmm.
fox. I'm playing very smart.
Of
So it
course.
must be the tennis fox.
Yeah.
So that's how I put that together. So I think that is really good. And of course, as soon as I get some more book shows, I will certainly announce them. I'll put it up on my X page. I'm also on Facebook. And on Facebook, I also have a page called John Riggio, Pro Tennis Player, that I have a lot of albums of
Thank you.
photos on there, some links. You could take a look at some pictures.
We always love. Thank you so much. And awesome again. Congratulations on the official engagement and all. I didn't know all this. So breaking news today, and hopefully I'll get to see you soon, okay? Thanks
Yes, thank
again,
you.
John. Bye bye.
Bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.